Hello everyone, welcome to the session. Good evening. So let's quickly join the session. So I hope I'm audible. Let me just cross verify the same. ठीक है. So I'm pretty much audible. You can join the session. Here alongside me you can also try to give the answer if you are sure about the answer, and I'll place the chat box. I'll open the comment section in my phone and I'll put it in front of me so that when you are answering I can verify it that if you are correctly answering it or not. Okay, so here we are dealing with the first week. In fact, not the first week, the third week current affairs, particularly from 16th to 23rd of May. 16th to 23rd of May. So we have designed 40 MCQ based question, and I'm going to give you the explanation for the same also. It is not going to be a plain quiz question where we are only going to solve the question and give the answer. You need to understand the context, because at times the question can be reframed, rephrased in some other way. So you should be able to answer that in other scenarios as well. All right. Now there is a rule. For example, whenever you are giving the answer, try to give it in the form of 1B, 2C, 2A, like this. For example, you have to mention the question number also. Otherwise, it becomes difficult for me to catch are you answering it correctly or not. The PDF of the session, you can locate it on the Oliveboard application. So if you have not already subscribed on the channel as well as the application, try to do it as early as possible. All the PDFs of the session that we take here on YouTube, you will find the free PDF on the mobile app of Oliveboard. Those who are preparing for banking examination quite seriously, they can also opt for this banking selection kit, which include almost everything that you will require for your preparation. And those who want a one-stop solution, everything at one place, which cannot be topped up, it cannot get better than the banking super elite batches. So if you are willing, you can join that as well. Otherwise, banking selection kit is also going to tackle a lot of requirement and problems that you have in your preparation. So the first question that we have here for today's session is what is the official full form of the national mission acronym SEHAT, which was launched in May 2026. So firstly, let us try to understand the background of this particular news. So there are two bodies, one is ICAR and the other is ICMR. Okay, both are research bodies in India. One is the Indian Council of Agriculture Research and the other is Indian Council of Medical Research. Both of these date back to the pre-independence time period. One was opened around 1911, although the name used to be something else back then, and the other was opened in established in 1929. So both predates the independence. Before the independence, आज़ादी से पहले के हैं दोनों ये research bodies. Now, if you talk about the work of ICAR, the Indian Council of Agriculture Research, it largely focus upon the eradication of hunger from Indian population. You are probably aware that there was a time we were not as efficient as far as the food security is concerned. We used to depend upon a lot of import of grains even. Today we are an agricultural giant. We are one of the largest producer of a lot of grains in India. A lot of crops are produced here and exported to other countries. But there were a time period where things were so bad that we need to import even the grains for the survival to eradicate or solve temporarily the problem of hunger in the Indian population. Specifically after Prime Minister Nehru died and Shastri Saab became the Prime Minister, India was struck with two successive drought. Unavailability of proper irrigation facilities, etc. It also made things even worse. So focus of ICAR for the initial day was to solve this particular problem so that we can become a food surplus. The advent of agriculture revolution and all the steps that we were largely taking during 60s, 70s and early 80s, it made us a food surplus country to a scale that now we are in condition to export a lot of grains to other countries as part of aid and as part of business trade, etc. But this came at a cost. We were agriculture and food surplus, but the food that we were producing, it was mostly the things which are mostly in demand in all the part of India, wheat and rice, the chief staple cereal that are grown in India. Now they can solve the problem of hunger, they can fill your stomach, okay, but they cannot provide you the required nutrition. For example, nutrition is not only about carbohydrate and the calories intake. In fact, today the lifestyle that we have, we all are sitting in front of the desk. Somebody is having a desk job, somebody is working, let's say in a MNC, someone is a software engineer. Everybody is having a very sedentary lifestyle. So this calorie intake has become a problem, and it is increasing the tendency of lifestyle in the non-communicable diseases as well. So now the bigger problem is the unavailability of nutrition. This is the hidden hunger. Earlier we were suffering with hunger. That problem we have solved, becoming the agriculture surplus nation. But the problem of hidden hunger, that is unavailability of chief nutrient in our food. Whether it is minerals, etc. like iron and zinc, magnesium, etc. or whether it is the vitamins like vitamin B12, folic acid, cyanocobalamin, etc. B6, B12, B2, B1, etc. So in order to solve this particular problem, both of these bodies, that is the Medical Research Council and the Agriculture Research Council, they are going to collaborate. ICAR over the years has developed more than 203 biofortified varieties or 203 biofortified crops. These are enriched with important nutrition. So now we have to do a large scale human trial in laboratories to test these crops. For that, ICMR is going to collaborate with the agriculture research body. And if we do find out that it is actually improving the overall public health, it is reducing the tendency of lifestyle diseases by curbing the unnecessary calories that we stuff in our bodies, and by providing the nutrition, it is also solving the problem of nutritional deficiency in India. Then we are going to integrate it in the PDS system, that is the public distribution system. So if things go well, a time will come when you'll go to a public distribution center. Instead of getting those pulses, regular pulses, wheat and grain, you'll get biofortified crops which are solving the actual hidden hunger in India. So for that, they have jointly started an initiative which is called as the Sehat Initiative. Sehat Initiative. Now the question it is asking is what is the full form of Sehat? If anybody is willing to answer, the chat box is open for you. You can guess it also. Okay? Is it systematic education for health and agriculture? Is it science excellence for health through agriculture transformation? Is it science excellence for health and animal transformation? Is it sustainable environment for health and agriculture tasks? So the correct answer here is A, that is science excellence for health through agricultural transformation. And let me tell you other static information related to this also, that there are total of 5 important pillars. 5 important pillars of this Sehat Initiative. 5 important pillars of this Sehat Initiative. Some of the most important pillars are reduction in the occurrence of non-communicable diseases, also the strengthening of the multi-cropping in India. Thirdly, to combat the problem of or the burden of occupational hazard, a lot of farmers and agricultural laborers who interact with a lot of chemicals, pesticide, fertilizers, they end up suffering from critical chronic illness like respiratory illness. So there is no monitoring as far as these chemicals, etc. are concerned, which is interacting with the human population. So we need to manage this problem of occupational hazard, the hazard which is associated with improper handling of these pesticide, fertilizers and other stuff. Next, we are also trying to track the zoonotic diseases. A lot of times the diseases is spread from animals to human population, because our country is not agrarian purely, it is agro-pastoral. I hope you are aware with the data that around 43% plus people in India are into the primary sector. However, the contribution of the primary sector to the GDP is merely 18%. So the contribution to GDP is less, but the population is largely into this agriculture or the primary sector. Now, most of the people, they are not only doing agriculture, they are also taming and domesticating the animals for better security, food security. ठीक है ना. So they are in northeast, people are taming these pigs in a lot of northern India, like states like Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Haryana, etc. People are taming the kettles, the buffaloes and etc. So a lot number of times the diseases from the birds, the hens, etc. They spread to the human population. So we need to work on this front also for reducing the occurrences and spread of these zoonotic diseases in the country. Apart from that, we also need to reduce the incidences of consumption of salt, sugar, and also oil. This is something that the Prime Minister has also asked us, because we need to curb the lifestyle diseases like hypertension and also diabetes. Okay, so this is all part of the joint initiative between the two bodies. Now let us try to solve other question. A lot of questions now will be able to solve with this particular understanding. One more thing, that the headquarter of both of these body is situated in New Delhi. Okay, that is also commonality. Establishment I have already mentioned, 1911 and 1929. Now let's tackle the second question. Which two premier Indian councils jointly launched the Sehat Health Convergence Initiative? Correct answer, it is not mentioned. I think when I was making the PPT, by mistake, the right answer got deleted here. So the C option is missing, which was the correct answer. The correct answer is ICAR and ICMR. ICAR and ICMR. Indian Council of Agriculture Research and Medical Research. ठीक है, आगे बढ़ते हैं. Next question. The Indian Council of Agriculture Research is under which parent ministry? You can use the common sense here also. If it is agriculture research, it should be based or put under the Agriculture and Farmer Welfare Ministry. So the correct answer is B, Ministry of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare. Moving ahead, under Pillar 1 of Sehat, how many biofortified varieties developed by ICAR are being clinically validated? This I have mentioned initially. The correct answer is 203. I hope you know about biofortification. What are biofortified crop? If there is somebody who is not sure, they may also ask it in the comment section. Just give me 1 second. Moving ahead, the next question. What is the revised total effective import duty BCD plus AIDC on gold following the May 2026 revision? So this is pertaining to the recent third week order of the Government of India, where the government has decided to increase the overall import duty or the custom duty on precious metal. It is not only about gold, but it is applicable on platinum and other precious metal like silver, etc. You must remember, and you probably have already heard, PM in Warangal in the second week of May requested Indians to reduce the consumption of petroleum, to prefer to commute through the public transport, to not purchase high quantity of gold, unnecessary gold, for next 1 year. And a lot of other things he also asked during that particular. And so this was the appeal that was being done in the second May. As a result of that, Ministry of Finance and decided to increase the import duty so that we can discourage people from, in fact, more than people, the licensed firms who are procuring and importing large volume of gold from other countries. Because just like crude oil, LPG and LNG, the 90% plus of the gold that we have or we consume is imported from other countries. Now, when you are buying this gold from other countries, you are paying them in dollars. So it is resulting in the depletion of our forex reserve or the dollar reserve, which is not a good thing. It will also weaken the rupee as well. It is going to depreciate the rupee as well. So just to do that, government has came up. Just to do that, government has come up with this particular solution. Yes is saying now I can answer every question correctly. Yes, if you are attending this again, so you have attended this on the other session, so you will be definitely able to answer all of these. So better not to waste your time. You can go for some other solutions as well. You can utilize these 1 hour to solve the other question, because most of the questions are the similar questions here. So here the answer is, firstly let us understand the entire overhaul that has happened. Now the BCD, that is the basic custom duty, that has strengthened or that has increased. Earlier it was how much? It was 1%. Sorry, the custom duty was 5%, and the agriculture development cess which was applied, it was 1%. So in total it used to be around 6%. In total it used to be around 6%. Now the government has increased it to 15%. Okay? And IGST, which you are aware that it is applicable on all the import, it stands at a standard 3%. So when we add this 15 to 3, we get the total value of 18%. So the effective net GST or the net import duty that is applicable is 18%. But question is asking us only the custom duty and AIDC. The correct answer will be 15%. It will be 15%. Next question. Under which legal trigger did the central government revise the import duty on previous metals in 2026? It is but obvious if it is related to import duty, or which is we also call it as custom duty, है ना, वो कहाँ पर आएगा आपका? वो आपका कस्टम एक्ट 1962 के अंदर में. सेबी हैज़ नथिंग टू डू विद इट. इट इज़ द सिक्योरिटीज एक्सचेंज बोर्ड. वो आपका रेगुलेटरी बॉडी है फॉर द स्टॉक मार्केट, फॉर द फाइनेंशियल मार्केट. RBI हैज़ नो रोल हेयर, है ना. इनकम टैक्स इज ऑल्सो अ डायरेक्ट टैक्स. व्हाट इट विल डू विद द इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स फॉर दैट मैटर? Okay, it is a direct tax. Here we are talking about indirect tax. So the Custom Act of 1962 is the current concerned legislation. Apart from that, let me also tell you, just similar to the gold, the import on the platinum has also increased to 15.4%. Up from 6.4%, the platinum import has also been increased to 16.4%. Apart from that, the gold and the silver, platinum findings. I hope you do understand findings. Findings does not mean ढूंढना या खोजना. वो literal मतलब नहीं है findings का. Findings जो आपका clamps को आप use करते हो, the girls and the women will better understand it, है ना. Or for example, if you are having a jewelry shop, even the guys can also do understand it. The pins, the screws, the clamps which are used in all those jewelries like ear pins and all, जो भी होता है आपका, मुझे उतना नहीं पता है, तो वो चीज़ें आपकी findings होती हैं. They are also associated accessories part, है ना. So on that also the fixed rate has been like increased to around 5.4%. चलिए, after this move to the next question. Into which category has the import status of silver been shifted after 2026 policy revision? So earlier it was in free territory, now it has moved to the restricted territory. Earlier all the players who were involved in importing this silver, just like gold, they could import as much as they want, and there was no, it was all unhindered and unrestricted. Now, in order to curb this import, government has mandated the grant and you can say procurement of valid license for the same, which without that you cannot do it. So from free, it has come to the restricted category as far as the silver import is concerned. Next question is, which country was India's primary global supplier of gold in FY 25-26, accounting for 40%? So it is asking that which were the countries which provided us the most amount of gold, what the source of the gold that we import here. So there are three countries which are in top 3. Switzerland is the right answer here. In FY 25-26, 40% of the gold that was introduced in India that we imported, it came from Switzerland. At second position, it was UAE, from where we got 16% of the gold, and South Africa was at the third position, from where we got 10% of the gold. So together they account for more than nearly around 65 to 70%. Only 3 countries are the supplier as far as the gold is concerned. I hope you will keep this in mind. Next question is, where was the second edition of the Indian Aircraft Leasing and Financing Summit 2.0 organized? So firstly, before understanding what was the purpose of this what was the venue of this particular summit, you need to understand the purpose of it, why we started. This is the second summit. Why the first summit occurred, or what is the need of this India Aircraft Leasing Financial Summit? So I have mentioned it in the paid batches as well, and in some of the YouTube classes also, at least once or twice. So I'll tell you also here to better grasp the context. See, the airline companies in India, whether it is Vistara, whether it is you can say indigenous companies, our own companies like Akasha Air, which was started by Rakesh Jhunjhunwala Sahab, the ace investor, whether it is Indigo, which entered into a lot of problem recently, they made a lot of chaos in the beginning of the year, and a lot of people were stranded on the airports. So whether it is Indigo, कोई भी यहाँ पर company हो, they have massive piles of wealth with them, specifically Indigo. Akasha तो फिर भी नहीं है. Indigo has massive amount of wealth. But when they have to procure a plane, when they have to buy a plane, they do not buy this plane in cash. Why? Because it is going to deplete their balance sheet. It is going to deplete their bank balance. And let us suppose something like a COVID happened, or the global war, or the third war starts. So the demand for the aircraft or the flight will dump away. Commercial flight won't be needed during that time. For example, in the COVID, the business of the airline companies, it was largely shattered away. It was largely shattered away. ठीक है ना, तो उसकी कोई ज़रूरत ही नहीं पड़ती आपको जब आप देखोगे तो. एंड इन दोस डेज ऑल्सो व्हेन यू आर नॉट मेकिंग मनी, times like COVID, you need to pay salary to the staff, you need to provide the hangar, the stationing, the cliff charges to the airport authorities, and lot of other amount is going to be basically paid. The rent also for the plane is going to be paid, and that is why these companies, they do not outrightly buy the planes which cost around 800 to 1000 or 1200 crore. On an average, it can be between 800 to 1200 crore. It is a big amount. So if you are buying, let's suppose 10 planes, it will cost around 10,000 crore, which is a massive amount of wealth. So that is why they do not directly buy it. Rather, they lease it, or you can also say they rent it. Now, from whom they are going to rent it? There are two bigger entities. There are two bigger players globally. One is the European Airbus, and the other is the Boeing. They are having a duopoly as far as this manufacturing is concerned, because there are a lot of intricate small parts, so many small parts that we cannot have. We cannot practically have it. None of the countries can have it. So they have this secret network of SMEs, smaller companies, different things sourced from different countries. Other countries like China have also tried. Other countries like Russia has also tried. India has also tried. So Russia has tried it with the Sukhoi initiative. China is trying it since late 80s and 90s. But nobody is able to breach this duopoly and break this duopoly. बहुत आए बहुत गए, इनकी duopoly खत्म नहीं होती है. So you have to buy mostly from them only. But you are not dealing directly with them. There are certain companies or certain financial entities which are called as, you can say, intermediaries, which are called as leaser, which act between A and B. A here is the Airbus and Boeing. B here is the airline companies, which is like Akasha or Indigo. So lessor or leaser is going to act as intermediary between the two. They will take this flight from this Airbus and Boeing, they will buy it out, and then they will rent to the airline companies around the world. Most of these companies, leaser entities or financial institutions, are based in countries like Ireland, where they get a lot of financial tax reduction and exemption. So they cannot be practically, a lot of people in India, there are so many wealthy people, there are so many big industries, there are so many big conglomerates, so many big companies like Tatas and Birlas and Reliance, Adani. Why they do not enter into this leasing type of business earlier on? It is also good, profitable. It has the highest profit margin, more than all A and B entities. So why do not they enter? Because if you are starting a company in Indian soil based in Maharashtra, Pune, or any other place, Noida, Gurgaon, Bangalore, Hyderabad, there are Indian laws which are very rigid. There are Indian laws which are very rigid, and the companies do not want to take that risk. They want international laws which are more relaxed for the purpose of fair play and trade. Fair play and trade. Unrestricted, and they also want tax holidays or tax relaxation. So now when we have this gift city in India, in Gujarat, Gandhinagar, which act as an offshore territory. So geographically, physically it is in India, but it is based upon the international law. So it acts as an offshore territory within India. It acts as a offshore territory within India. So a lot of companies are now entering into gift city to start with the leasing business. They are starting this leasing business. Why we do want to do that? Because earlier, for example, currently India has a massive open order size of 1000 plus aircraft. अभी हमने इतना order दिया हुआ है. We are acquiring this 1000 plus planes. We have given the order, and we are going to get this completed very soon, in less than 5 to 6 years. And the total amount of this order is $50 to $100 billion. So if we are going to buy it from the leasing company which is registered in, or which is operating from Ireland, our precious forex reserve or the dollar reserve is going to go into the Ireland, which is not good for the country's financial health. है ना. So that we can keep the forex reserve in India only, we are trying to open the leasing business and encouraging the players, incentivizing the players to open the business in the gift city. और इसके लिए हमने 2025 के अंदर में IPOI एक्ट भी लेके आया है. We came up with the IPOI एक्ट, ठीक है, ये हमने एक्ट भी लेकर के आए हैं. इससे होगा क्या, नाउ द इंडियन लॉज आर गोइंग टू बी सबसाइडेड बाय द लॉ विच इज एप्लीकेबल, दिस न्यू लॉ दैट वी हैव स्टार्टेड, IPOI एक्ट. इसमें होगा क्या, फॉर एग्जाम्पल अर्लियर व्हाट यूज्ड टू हैपन, फॉर एग्जाम्पल अ लीजर कंपनी हैज रेंटेड अ plane to Indigo, or let's suppose Kingfisher, which is already bankrupt, Kingfisher Airlines. Now when the bankruptcy and solvency process of Kingfisher will start, the leaser company will come to India and they will say that give me my plane, this plane I have rented to Kingfisher, I want to take it back so that I can rent it to some other entity and I can earn profit. But the Indian court and the NCLT probably, or any other authorized body, they are going to say no, you cannot take the place because it is under the bankruptcy and insolvency. So it is going to be a huge loss, and that is why a lot of companies were deterrent. A lot of leasers were not very much interested. So now when we have started this offshore territory within India, Gift City, international smart city in India, what we are doing, we are incentivizing and encouraging both Indian entities and foreign entities to start and collaborate for this leasing business within Indian soil, so that we can save this huge amount of $50 to $100 billion with us. I hope that part is clear to you. So now let us try to tackle the question based upon that. Question was, the second edition of Indian Aircraft Leasing Financing Summit 2.0 organized in which place? So now you'll be able to answer it. The correct answer is Gift City, Gandhinagar. Second question related to this is, Akasha Air established the Akasha Air Lending Institution in Gift City to lease how many aircraft over 5 years? So total of 60 aircrafts are going to be leased from this subsidiary of Akasha Air, that is Ali. Next we have India's commercial aviation fleet is projected to grow to how many aircraft by 2035? By 2027 we are projected to be somewhere at around 1700 planes, and by 2035 we are going to reach this 2250 landmark. We are having an open order of more than 1000 as of now, valued at more than $50 billion. Next question is, what is the value of the credit line guarantee scheme approved by the government to ease the airline liquidity? So we have discussed that the government is trying everything legally and financially to help these airline companies and industries to function in a better way, efficiently. So the government is also stepping in and infusing a sum total of 5,000 crore rupees as a financial incentive to add the liquidity in the airline sector. आगे बढ़ते हैं. Next question, I think you should able to answer this. You should be able to answer this. Very easy question. You must have heard it somewhere in the third week. Question is, India's WPI inflation rose to a 42-month high of what percentage in April 2026? Anybody who is willing to answer it? Let me have some water, and meanwhile, if you want, you can answer this. So the correct answer for this is 8.3%. Look, 8.3% is the right answer. In the month of March, we were standing at 3.88%. In the month of February, we were somewhere at around 2.2%, nearly 2.2%. And even lower, around 1.7 or something in the beginning of the year, in the beginning of this particular year. So if you see from that time period to now, it has at least increased 8 times, 7 to 8 times. Not exactly 8 times. You can say 5.5 times, 1.7 से अगर आप calculate करोगे accordingly. If you calculate it from February itself, then also it has almost soared 4 times. है ना? The WPI. Now you should also have general economy and general awareness information related to WPI, which if you are able to answer, I am giving you certain question. You have to take it as homework. If somebody is watching it in recording, they can take it as in homework and they have to answer this question. Those who are watching it in live, if they are aware, they can answer it right now. If you are not aware, try to find the answer. What are the constituents and what is the weightage of the WPI inflation index? है ना? For example, there are different constituents. Power and fuel is also there. Manufactured product is also there. Primary article is also there. You have to tell me what is the composition, what is the percentage or weightage of each of these constituent. Next, you have to compare it with the CPI. What is the constituent and their weightage in the CPI, consumer price inflation. Next, you have to tell me what are the concerned ministry. I'll give you a hint. One of these is released by Ministry of Commerce. The other is released by the MOSPI, that is Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. You have to tell me which one is released by which. And then you have to tell me on what particular day are these datas released. On what particular day are these datas increased. And also the current CPI as applicable in India. Question here related to this is which component saw the sharpest spike in WPI rising to 24.71 year on year in April 26. So out of all, due to global uncertainty, the choking of the Strait of Hormuz by Iran, what is going to catch the fire earliest? Fuel and power is going to catch the fire earliest. So this has soared most sharply than compared to the other constituents of the WPI. The correct answer will be fuel and power. Okay? आगे बढ़ते हैं. India and UAE have set a target to double their merchandise trade to how much by 2032. So you should be aware, I think आपने देखा भी होगा, memes भी बन रहे थे काफ़ी ज़्यादा. The Prime Minister of India was on a 5-country visit, including primary countries like UAE, Netherlands, and also Italy. In Italy, though, he offered that some chocolate or toffee, I'm not able to recall the name of the whatever the name of the toffee was, to the leader of Italy, है ना, Meloni. So उनको उन्होंने दिया टॉफ़ी का एक पैकेट या दिया कुछ ऐसा. It became quite a meme. All right. So as part of this visit, when he was in UAE, different agreements or MOUs were signed between Indian entities and the entities in basically UAE. So यहाँ पर पूछा है कि as part of that meet and that part of that deal, what is the bilateral target set for 2032? What is the expected target for 2032? So the expected target is $200 billion. $200 billion. Last year, 2025-26, we have crossed this $100 billion. और ये बहुत बड़ी बात है because it is only from the merchandise, we are not talking about the service sector. Secondly, if you even compare it with the bigger countries like South Korea, with South Korea also we have a very important business and a good amount of bilateral trade. They are contributing in the shipbuilding also under the Voyages framework which was recently signed. They are contributing in the AI, they are also contributing in the defense and this maritime security initiative. Also, some of these other South Korean company you must all had in your life at some point or the other. LG used to be a mobile manufacturer earlier. Samsung is still one of the biggest mobile manufacturer in the world. Samsung product. Achha, Samsung is not only in the mobiles, they are manufacturing the ACs also, they are manufacturing the microwave also, they are manufacturing the refrigerator also, the washing machine also, the television sets also, the speakers also, the headphones also. They are into a lot of other things. So it is the biggest, as far as the market capitalization is concerned, it is the biggest company of South Korea, and all Indians at some point of time they must have had something from Samsung or LG. Hyundai, it is also a famous brand, a popular brand, automobile brand in India. It is also South Korean company. POSCO, which is also a South Korean company, basically in the steel manufacturing sector, it has recently signed agreement or formed joint venture with the JSW group in India, the Sajjan Jindal group in India, to start a total of 11 million ton per annum steel mill facility in 2 districts of Odisha, that is Keonjhar and दूसरा आपका डिस्ट्रिक्ट धीन कनाल जो है ना. उड़ीसा is a very important state because of the reserves, natural reserves, mineral reserves that it has, and also it is a state having the highest number of primitive tribal groups. Due to this a lot of problems do occur whenever this type of project do start in places like Jharkhand and Odisha, primarily in places like Odisha. So the value is $200 million. I was telling that a country big as South Korea, with that also our total bilateral trade values currently is at $25 billion, and we are trying to expand it to $50 billion by 2030. So you can compare the context that we have the total volume at 25, and with UAE we have the total volume of trade at around 100. It is 4 times larger. Next question is, during the PM Modi's UAE visit in 26, the UAE committed how much fresh investment to India? Correct answer is $5 billion is the fresh investment that has been promised to be invested in India. Those of you who are seriously preparing for banking examination, they can also join our super elite batches as well. Super elite batch जो हमारा banking का है, you get everything here. Compared to any normal random course, you get everything at one particular place. Moving ahead, The local currency system or settlement system between India and UAE involve which country? It is but obvious, you have to just be aware that what are the countries of the two. India की currency तो आपको पता ही है. We have rupee. You just have to be familiar with the currency of UAE. So it is INR and dirham or AED. AED. ठीक है. Next is the Strategic Petroleum Reserve MOU expand UAE's crude oil storage in India to what particular amount? I hope you do understand about the Strategic Petroleum Reserve Program of India. Under this program, in a lot of coastal areas and other areas in the country, India has a, you can say, made a strategic cavern system or cavern network where we are in the underground facilities, we are storing crude oil, so that if certain global uncertainty hits our country, some war happens or something bad happens, we can sustain the oil requirement. We can place a lockdown. Without lockdown, the reserves are able to probably take the country's operation till at least 24 to 45 days. But with a whole standing lockdown like COVID, probably we can use that reserve for around 5 to 6 months also. We never know. We have not actually practically verified the same thing, but we are trying to increase this reserve as much as possible. So there is only one partner who is partnering or agreeing with the Strategic Petroleum Reserve within India, and that is UAE. And UAE is also like contributing to around raising of 30 million barrel of crude oil into these reserve. You have to keep in mind, we are not storing the petroleum, we are storing the crude oil, because logistically it is better to store, and apart from that, space wise also, the amount of space it is going to occupy, it is going to be better than petroleum. And third, the shelf life of crude oil is also larger than the petrol. And we do not have any problem of finishing it into petrol, because we have the largest, some of the largest oil refineries in our country. Jamnagar facility of Reliance Industry in Gujarat, it is the largest oil refinery in the world. So whenever we need to refine it, we can easily refine it without any problem. Moving ahead, what is the capacity of the sovereign AI semi-computing cluster being established with the UAE G42? So India's CDEC and UAE's G42, they have partnered to promote the India's sovereign AI capacity, which is going to help India to have its own indigenous AI ecosystem, because we are one of the world's largest AI consumer, AI tool services consumer, but we do not have any indigenous ecosystem for that. So we need, in order to make a lot of AI apps in India, integrate indigenous AI framework in India, both the countries are going to partner, and the capacity that is in discussion under the framework is 8 exaflop. 8 exaflop. Next is the Wadinar ship repair cluster established in the collaboration with UAE is located in which state? So some of you must have heard about Wadinar earlier also. It is present in Gujarat, and there are two Indian companies. One is a Mini Ratna PSU company, which is called as CSL. It is a shipbuilding, major shipbuilding company, just like the GRSE, the Garden Reach, and also the Mazago Dockyard ship company. These are the companies which manufacture INS Vikrant. These are the companies which are in taking the projects like 17th A project of India, the Nilgiri class ships or the frigates which are being handled to the Indian Navy, like Taragiri, like Mahendragiri, like Nilgiri, like Dunagiri. There are total 7 such frigates which are handed to the Indian Navy. So these type of shipbuilding companies like Garden Reach, Mazago, or CSL, that is a Cochin Shipyard Limited, which is in Kerala, they manufacture these ships. So these are Mini Ratna PSU's shipbuilder companies. So they are partnering with DDW, that is Dry Dock World, which is a UAE based company, to start this ship repair cluster within India. ठीक है, तो ये आपको ध्यान में रखना है. It is also the agreement of India and UAE. Next is, where is the headquarter of ISPRL, that is Indian Strategic Petroleum Reserve, located? I have already taught you about the Strategic Petroleum Reserve Program of India. Now the supervising body for that is ISPRL. It is asking where is the headquarter of it. So a lot of people might get confused. In other session which I was taking, I've seen in the paid batches also, in the other batches also, people have answered Vizag as the correct answer, Vishakhapatnam, because a lot of caverns ना जहाँ पर ये store कर रहे हो crude oil, वो विशाखापट्टनम में है. But it is not asking where are the caverns or the network of underground facilities where we storing the crude oil. It is essentially asking where is the headquarter of the body which supervises it, ISPRL. So it is located in sector 73 of Greater Noida, Noida, उत्तर प्रदेश. ठीक है, तो ये आपको पता होना चाहिए. आगे बढ़ते हैं. ISPRL is a wholly owned subsidiary of which government control board? Correct answer is OIDB, that is Oil Industry Development Board. Acha, incorporation of ISPRL was in which year? It can also be asked. Year was 2004. OIDB, under which the ISPRL comes. ISPRL is a subsidiary of OIDB. OIDB comes under which ministry? MOPENG, that is Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. Next question, what is the only two byproduct of the chemical process inside a hydrogen fuel cell? This news is pertaining to the start of South Asia's first hydrogen fuel cell powered public bus in the city of Delhi, which has been recently inaugurated. So it utilizes the hydrogen fuel cell instead of petroleum, gasoline, etc. These are not used because they create pollution. So as part of our green initiative, we have shifted our public commute to this. It is asking what are the bioproduct when we use this particular hydrogen fuel cell. So byproduct is water vapor and heat. Water vapor and heat. Next question is, which PSU supplies the green hydrogen fuel and infrastructure for DMRC's new shuttle service? So this service has been started, the buses are started by DMRC. DMRC or Delhi Metro Railway Corporation, it is going to see the entire purview of the ticketing. It is going to see the management part of it. But who is going to provide this hydrogen fuel? To DMRC, it is going to be provided by the Indian Oil Corporation Limited, which is a Maharatna PSU in India, IOCL. Okay? Just like BPCL, etc., it is also a Maharatna PSU of India. You should be aware, if you are watching it in recording, and you are aware that how many total Maharatna PSUs are there in India and what is the criteria for a company to get this status of Maharatna, तो आप उसको chat box में बताना. आगे बढ़ते हैं. Rajasthan's first semiconductor packaging facility has been inaugurated in which industrial hub? So recently Rajasthan के अंदर में it got its first semiconductor packaging facility. India is largely working on two different domains. First is for the critical minerals like lithium, cobalt, nickel, and also germanium, etc. Because this critical mineral or the rare earth metal, they are utilized in the EV battery and the solar battery, and the upcoming age is entirely focused upon EV and the solar, renewable energy, etc. So first is something we are focusing upon that. For that we have recently signed a MOU also with Vietnam and other countries in the world also. ठीक है. दूसरा चीज़ जो हम फोकस कर रहे हैं वो सेमीकंडक्टर कैपेबिलिटी को बढ़ाना है. एंड फॉर इंक्रीजिंग द सेमीकंडक्टर कैपेबिलिटी वी हैव स्टार्टेड द इंडियाज सेमीकंडक्टर मिशन एज वेल विद अ जायंट एंड मेमथ फंडिंग. In that regard, Tata has already started its operation in the state of Gujarat in a place called as Dholera, and the Indian government has provided that a SEZ status, Special Economic Zone, where for the first 5 years you do not have to pay any tax. For the next 5 years you have to pay only 50% tax. There has to be no import duty when you are procuring any raw material for manufacturing your goods for the purpose of export of semiconductor chip. So this is also one of the milestone as far as the semiconductor initiative is concerned. Now in the same regard, we have Rajasthan, which had its first semiconductor packaging plant. तो पूछ रहा है आपसे कि what is the location, in which place of Rajasthan that plant has started. Answer is Bhiwandi. Bhiwandi is the right answer here. Second question is the Sahasra semiconductor plant, the same plant which we are talking about here, Rajasthan's plant, aims to scale up its capacity to how many units within a year? What is the target of this Sahasra semiconductor plant, which is opening this Rajasthan's first semiconductor packaging plant in Bhiwandi of Rajasthan? So the target is 400 to 600 million annually. 400 to 600 million annually. ठीक है, आगे बढ़ते हैं. Under the SPECS scheme, what percentage of financial incentive is offered to capital expenditure? Capital expenditure जिसको आप capex भी कहते हो. So government, in order to incentivize this semiconductor adaptation, the operation, manufacturing, packaging, it has outlaid this scheme that is called as SPECS. Although this SPEC scheme last year in 2025, it got sub-assumed under another scheme If you are aware of the name of that scheme which started last year, tell me in the comment section. Under which scheme this specs was subassumed? Meanwhile, we'll be answering the solution for this particular question. So the total incentive that is offered by the government for the purpose of capex, it is 25%. So let us suppose if you are spending 100 rupees on the capex, starting a new branch for your jewelry shop, let us suppose, random example, not related to this, just so that you can understand. So government is going to provide you 25 rupees. Okay, na? So that is the simple meaning. Next is, what is the total outlay approved for the Semicon India program? Here it means Semiconductor India program. How much government is spending? The correct answer is 76,000 crore is the total outlay. Okay? 76,000. आगे बढ़ते हैं. The Elkina or Elsina electronic manufacturing cluster in Bhiwandi spans across how many acres? Now this semiconductor plant, packaging plant that we were talking about, it is in Bhiwandi, but it is under another industrial park which is called as the Elkina Industrial Park, है ना? And it is asking the area, total area of Elkina plant. So the total area of Elkina plant is 50 plus acre. It is a very important plant, industrial park in the state of Rajasthan in Bhiwandi, where such plants are getting opened, like the Sahasra plant. Next is, what is the full form of Elkina? The full form of Elkina, see, a lot of people might get confused that the second letter is L, so it can be logistic, liaison or leader. But the answer is most unobvious one, that is Electronic Industries Association of India, Elkina. ठीक है, चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं. L&T has partnered with which French deep tech group for naval suites? See, हम यहाँ पर ना कुछ MCMVs को यहाँ पर एक्वायर करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. MCMVs जो आपके हैं, माइन काउंटर जो वेसल्स हैं, इनको यहाँ पर एक्वायर करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. Why? Because the last mine sweeper. What is mine sweeper? See, first you need to get the context. Just like when an army tank is walking on the ground, there can be hidden mines which can get detonate and blast, है ना? So for that we basically adopt the trowel assembly system. Recently, an Indian company, the BEML, that is Bharat Earth Mover Limited, it partnered with some of the foreign companies and also some of the Indian startups in that space in order to strengthen the anti-tank mine mission within India, so that हमारी tank जो है, specifically two type of tanks, the Ajay tanks and the Bhishma tanks, they can safely operate, ठीक है ना, and strengthen our defense position. Similarly, the naval operation are also under threat due to the naval mines which are laid underwater. जैसे आर्मी को टैकल करना पड़ रहा है underground, the Navy has to tackle underwater mines which are laid. These underground mines are very small, they are stealthy and they can create huge havoc. They are often utilized to choke the strategic trade points. Okay? So in order to safeguard our territories, safeguard our littoral spaces and also safeguard the naval vessels in India, we need the you can say mine capability or anti-mine vessel, or you can say mine counter vessel to combat with that type of situation and that type of mines, which can easily detect and neutralize these hidden underwater mines. And necessity becomes more pertinent and important. Why? Because the last minesweeper that we have got decommissioned in 2019. It was the Soviet minesweeper which was called as INS Kozhikode. Kozhikode is the name of a district in the state of Kerala, है ना? It has, Kerala I think has total of 12 or 13 districts, just like Uttarakhand, and Kozhikode is one of the district. Just like Kochi is there, just like Alpuja is there, just like Kollam is there, just like Wayanad is there, just like Thrissur is there, है ना? So these are districts of Kerala. So this is one of the district, INS Kozhikode, वहाँ पे आपको station दिखाई देता है, last minesweeper. अच्छा, India is trying to acquire more and more such anti-mine capabilities and vessels since 2005, but our mission to acquire that has already been delayed by more than 20 years. It has already been delayed by more than 20 years. Okay? It started during UPA 1 government and the procurement was supposed to happen within a decade, less than a decade. But now it has been delayed. We have tried to work with a lot of companies like Goa Shipyards, which just like Cochin Shipyard, Garden Reach, it is one of the shipbuilder in India. We also partnered with certain companies, for example, in South Korea. But either there was problem of cost, the cost was very high, which was quoted by the companies, or there was problem of technology transfer. They were not ready to share the technology. So we rejected those deals. ठीक है, and till now we do not have any type of this anti-mine capability, and during the current situation that is happening in the Indian Ocean, it becomes more important than ever to have such important critical marine infrastructure and naval infrastructure. ठीक है ना, तो उसी के लिए यहाँ पर जो L&T है, लार्सन एंड ट्यूब्रो, इट इज पार्टनरिंग विद अ फ्रेंच कंपनी. नेम ऑफ दैट फ्रेंच कंपनी इज एक्सॉल टेक्नोलॉजी. एक्सॉल टेक्नोलॉजी. Next is L&T Exol partnership targets the Indian Navy's upcoming 44,000 crore program for what thing? It is but obvious. अभी मैंने बताया ना MCMVs, ये देखिए यहाँ पर लिखा भी हुआ है, Mine Counter Measure Vessels. Moving ahead. Which was the last specialized minesweeper of the Indian Navy which retired in 2019? अभी तो बताया INS कोझिकोड है, ठीक है. Next is how many multi-purpose MCMVs are planned under the new blueprint with hulls made of composite? So under this partnership, how many we are willing to acquire? See, we require a total of 24 MCMVs to safeguard our thousands of kilometers of coastal area and also the important strategic ports that we have in India. But currently, as part of this blueprint, we are acquiring 12 such MCMVs, which is going to be delivered within 2000 time frame of 2030 to 2037. This 7-year time period. ठीक है ना? Moving ahead. The ICMR was established in 1911 under which initial name? I have already mentioned that ICMR and ICR both are headquartered in Delhi and they started in 1911-1929, but the initial name was something else. So initially it was called as the Indian Research Fund Association or IRFA. It got renamed in the year 1949 when it got the designation as the ICMR, Indian Council of Medical Research. Next question is, which is the parent ministry of the Indian Council of Medical Research? That is ICMR. So it is but obvious, if it is related to medical, it will be Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. It is a common sense you can apply to answer this question. Moving ahead. The national headquarters of ICAR is located in which iconic building in New Delhi? Is located in which iconic building in New Delhi? Acha, even if you, let's assume you do not know the answer of this question, how you can use your common sense again? ICAR is related to agriculture research, na? Agriculture in Hindi is called as Krishi. So obvious answer is Krishi Bhavan, which is located in New Delhi. That is the headquarter of ICAR. Next is Indian Council of Agriculture Research was established on what time period? So ICAR got established in the year 1929, although it was reorganized later in the decade of 60s and 70s as well. That is altogether a different story. Now the last set of 2 questions. Which Sehat pillar focuses on the tracking field exposure to chemicals and reduction and reducing the pesticide contact? Reducing the pesticide contact. We have discussed 5 pillars. One of the pillar where I explained that a lot of Indian farmers and the field workers, they often interact with a lot of chemicals, pesticide, and it increases their exposure to the irritants, which eventually result into chronic diseases or respiratory illness or respiratory sickness. To combat that, the pillar that we have here is occupational health framework. ठीक है, तो ये आपको बताया गया है शुरुआत में एक्सप्लेनेशन के समय पे. Next is One Health Surveillance Infrastructure. Pillar 5 aims to protect against what? So Pillar 5 tends to protect us against the emerging zoonotic threats, which originate from the animals and then integrate to the human population, creating a problem of epidemiological origin. So with this we come to the end of today's session. I hope you would have liked the session and a lot of important details you would be able to answer in the examination. बहुत सारे important initiatives in the 3rd week. Now the PDF, in the beginning of the session we have shown you a QR code. If you are not registered on the you can say the channel or the application, mobile application of Oliveboard, you should register yourself because the free PDF of the session you are going to get there. Let's assume if you are not able to find the PDF, you can comment here also in the chat box, and some team member, I think they will surely try to help you out. They will suggest you how you can locate it. If you have not joined our Telegram space, we do have a lot of quizzes here. We also do send a lot of polls, etc. प्लस आपको जो भी लेटेस्ट करंट अफेयर्स की क्लासेस है उसके अपडेट्स भी यहाँ पर मिलते हैं, बिकॉज लॉट मेनी टाइम्स यू डू नॉट गेट द चांस टू अटेंड द क्लासेस, एंड दैट इज़ वाई अगर आप सिंसियरली यहाँ पर फॉलो कर रहे हो, जो पेड बैच में है वो तो अच्छी बात है, दोज आर इन द पार्ट ऑफ पेड बैच इट इज़ गुड फॉर देम, बट दोज आर नॉट पार्ट ऑफ द पेड बैचेस दे ऑल्सो हैव टू बी रेगुलर, because if you are not following the current affairs on a regular basis, it get compiled and then it becomes very difficult to follow it up. Okay, so see you all in the next session with the 4th week current affairs and also the monthly compilation. If you like the session, do like it and also do comment it. How do you file the quality of content? Thank you. See you. Goodbye. Take care.